All right, we're recording. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Twisters from the Same Mister. I am T, and this is.
B, the big twist.
Yes. And today we have B's sisters with us. So you want to go ahead and introduce them, B?
I have my oldest sister, Tiffany. Say hi, Tiff. And Danielle, Dr. Danielle Peterson.
All right.
Today's
So,
interview is going to be, what was that, Tiffany? Sorry.
I just said
Yes.
thing.
Oh.
oh,
Today's interview is going to be their experiences with my life and coming into me finding my biological father and how that played a part in our relationships and meeting my other siblings for the first time.
all right. So I'm excited to hear from them. Like B, I also have siblings outside of our biological father, and we've talked to at least one of them about his experience. But I'm interested to see on the other side of the pond how things went. So I'll let you kick it off, B.
Okay, so either one, here, Danielle, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us more about you before going into the details of your experience.
Um, you said me first?
Either one.
Oh, yes, I'm Danielle. I am the second sister um, out of four siblings. Bernadette is the B is the youngest in our sibling group, and I have two children, and I don't know what else we would how we would introduce ourselves, but
You are a doctor of.
of education in curriculum and instruction with a leadership focus. And I don't know if y'all explain where you are in the United States. I am in Oklahoma, and we're all spread out, although we talk daily. If, you know, we might go a day or two without speaking, but we communicate often with one another. So go ahead, Tiffany.
Oh, really? We do.
We
Hi.
don't talk every day.
Okay. Like,
Well, now we do, but it was a little period where we didn't. But okay.
Okay.
Um, my name is Tiffany. I am the oldest of Bernadette's mother's siblings. I have been basically the oldest of everything, the oldest granddaughter, the oldest niece, the oldest everything. And so I typically, that's how I walk, that's how I talk. I'm the big sister. I live in Savannah, Georgia. I have two children, many grandchildren, stepchildren. I'm the auntie. I got all kinds of folks now that I typically am surrounded by. So the relationships with my siblings are very important. I make sure that now I have my boundaries. They have their boundaries as adults, so we're a little different. So I'm interested in this conversation because it's always interesting. First of all, I think it's hilarious because I be thinking, as a woman, what was my mama thinking? But it's interesting to see her develop her relationship with her other siblings because as being, a child growing up together and now being adults, it's a very different. And it's different with the girls, it's different with the boys. It's just different. So it's very interesting to see this kind of play out in real life. It's not a story. It's not a, you know, Lifetime
fairy
movie
tale.
network. So it's like, wow. So I think it gets even every time there's something else, I'll be like,
Damn.
yeah, this ain't real, is it? But it turns out to be real life. So I'm excited to like be a part of this.
Okay. Well, I do greatly appreciate you both for being so open and candid about the experience because it has been a roller coaster ride to say the least. But the support that y'all give as I find out and have to go through the emotions of it all has been great. Then also finding Taja finding us, and then it's like, damn, who is that? She looked like, just like me. And then we have such similar characteristics, and it's different. Like, we all have a relationship. One thing I've started saying now is knowing your target audience and knowing who you can talk to about different things and how to navigate through life. The relationship that me and Danielle have built is totally different from the relationship that you and I, Tiffany, have built, and also the relationship that me and Taja have. For a long time with you, Tiffany, although my big sister, you were still very much a maternal type of relationship to me because of the role you played in my life after mama died. It always get emotional on here sometime, y'all. Just going through that process and then having to learn you as a woman and not just as my sister, and that aspect of a role. And sometime in that relationship, it caused me to harbor some resentment, and I had to learn how to navigate through that and then start to see you again as just my sister, and us being able to enjoy each other in a way outside of, growing those boundaries, as you said. And then also the relationship with you, Danielle, being that we weren't raised in the house our whole life, and me seeing your life for what it was and feeling a void for that, and then us being able to come full circle and build our relationship outside of everybody else's relationship, and me knowing you as you are and being, who you are to me. So that's been amazing. And then getting to know Taja and me feeling like me going through the process before she get here with our dad gave me a leg up to be able to help her through the process, because a lot of her journey, she's walked some of the places I've been, and it's crazy because she lived in Junction at one point in time. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know that. And
No.
dang, I was born there. She knows some people that Tiffany knows that have known me that I don't really recall them too much, but it's just crazy things that play out in life. So our experience is so funny. But for me, I'm just grateful, to have the experience, and that everybody has been able to, be a part of it and not be shunned, because some of our siblings from our daddy, they don't like it. So for you all to be as supportive as y'all is, I'm grateful. But so now, if y'all could just say, tell tell about me as a kid in your life.
Well, but back for a second, when you say that they aren't as supportive, it's one, I think it's because of our age. Because at 21, 22, when you had found, your dad, it was like, hmm, I mean, you knew all your life that our dad was not your biological father, but it was like, one, I don't I was happy that you located him, but I was not real in agreement with you connecting with him, because it was like you didn't been through, 20 something years of life and not knowing the story then. It was like, why you need it now? We've grown as a family without him. What you need to find him now? And it was also, you were going through a lot. You were very immature. Asia was, a baby, and it was more at a protective thing as well. Like, I was excited you found him, but it was like, I didn't really think you needed to meet him, interact with him at the time. And I still didn't even know anything about the siblings yet. It was more of a protective thing. Like, I'm not real sure I was ready for you to, do that. But once you did, it was like, oh, okay, I can deal. And then more siblings start coming. And even then, I was like, we're we're her siblings. We don't say half, we don't. And recently somebody mentioned a half sister, and I'm like, who got a half sister? I ain't got no half sister. That's my sister.
Yeah.
Like, we don't use that term, have never used that term, have never felt any different. So when these other siblings start coming about, and they were boys at that, the first, you got in contact with the boys, I didn't feel anything. I didn't be like, well, they siblings, these just people to me that came in your life. And then when you started communicating with the girls a little bit, it was like, wait a minute, she ain't got no sisters. We her sisters, you know. But then on the other hand, I'm supportive. Like, I want her to know her family. But it was like, But now at almost 50 and my children
Ah,
meeting their other siblings, it's like I am super supportive of it. And when Taj came around, it was like, wait a minute, they look like twins. And I was super excited. I talk about it to the kids all the time. Like, I want her to know her. I want to figure out what she like, what she don't like, if she like you, if she not, you know, and all that. So that's why I think it's support now, because of the age we are. And we've had 20 something years to process and watch you grow through the process, So that's that little bit. Sorry, I went a little long,
That
but
that's
No,
awesome.
no, it's fine.
and I
Um,
think when you think about it, you know, coming from a single family household where there's no male in the household, right? Um, I don't. I knew who my daddy was. I love my daddy. I love my people. They love me. They love us. We good, right? But you don't really realize how much not having a father or a father figure means in a black household, a black women, with black women. And so when she wanted that, like, you knew she was striving, that it was going to kill her to find him, right? And then when you found him and you went to
alas.
Alaska, and there was an instant connection with him and not the other siblings and not his wife, or I can't remember her name, Connie, whatever. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to mention names. But, just that relationship didn't jump off, and she needed that. That's what's like for me. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that ain't gonna happen, whatever. That we got her. That means we need to just pay attention a little bit more to this. But then the boys came, and it was like she was clicking, clicking, clicking. I was like, oh, that's so great. Cause I know, our relationship, her relationship with our brother wasn't as strong as she really needed. And so that was a connection for her. So the more connection she got, the happier I got, because that was the maternal thing. That wasn't a sister thing. I wasn't worried ever about a sister thing, because I'm always going to be. Like, for me, there was never, ever any kind of hesitation. But I just still think, as a woman, I'm thinking, damn, what was my mama thinking? I mean, that's all I kept thinking, because there was more kids. And then you came along, and then there was this connection that clearly was what she needed, and needed to see things differently for the rest of us. So you coming, Taja helped all of us, you know what I'm saying? Because she now sees, hey, and now she's not the baby. Because growing up, she was the youngest. She's the baby. She was spoiled, bratty, rotten.
so just like she is
Period.
now.
Period.
Just like she's now.
Right.
But to go back into that, like at 2021, looking for my dad, it was because I felt like I had gotten pregnant with Asia, and it was like, dang, my baby not gonna have no maternal grandparents. And so the desire changed for me. Because before, daddy, I called her daddy too. Daddy never denied me of being his child. The Moors accepted and loved me to this day, as I do love them as well. So that's never been a void in that aspect. But I was like, my baby wouldn't have any natural maternal grandparents had I not found him. And I did have the notion, like, well, wait, maybe what if it don't work? What if he's not? Da 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 da. But my desire to give my kids at least something from that, or knowledge of, was more important than it not working. And again, we didn't. we clicked and we had a relationship, and we had spurts where I had to get to know him as a person, but my desire again for my kids outside of myself was stronger for me to pursue that.
I want to jump in and go all the way back to something you said, B, about me walking in some of the same spots. Earlier this year, someone that I met when I was living in Kansas passed away, and it was like a full circle moment for me because it was you, Tiffany, reaching out to be to say, "Hey, decide to know this." That how I even found out that he passed away. So like again, like it was just like, man, um, when everything happened, my world blew up, and I was just like, "What's going on?" But then I remember when I met B for the first time, and we FaceTimed you, Tiffany, and then you added me on Facebook, and then that's when we found out we had these connections and stuff. And so it's like all along, God was kind of preparing me for you to come into my life, B, having me walk the same spots, like meeting people that like we have 6 degrees of separation, preparing you so that you're like walking the walk. And we talk about this all the time, like not just physically, like, hey, we lived in the same place, but like even the things that you've gone through in life, we experience so much of the same things. And it's like you experienced all of that because he was preparing you so that you could step into this big sister role and do so with wisdom and understanding and care and compassion. Because from the first time we talked on the phone, one of the things that you kept reiterating is that you're my sister. We're family. I got you. You don't have to do this alone. You are not alone anymore. You're not alone anymore. And I remember you saying that, and like I appreciated I love you, like it's instantaneous. But I was like, I'm not. What do you mean? You don't know me. You don't know if I'm alone. But you knew something that I didn't know. That when you're walking this journey, it is lonely, and when you don't have anybody in your life that has walked it, you are alone. And so you weren't talking about like my like literal being alone, there's nobody in my life, but like I'm not alone in this journey. And so I just think that like God knew that this day was coming, and for both of us, he put people and things and places, he put us in places that would prepare us for this. And so it's it's half like instantaneous love at first sight. Like I saw her and I loved her, and like it's the instantaneous connection that I don't have with anybody else. I've had to kind of like work with it, even with our grandma and our biological father. But with B, it was instantaneous. It was so natural. But also, it is amusing and entertaining and interesting. How many more ways can we be alike, to have not grown up together, to be 8 years apart, to have different moms, and yet we look so much alike? We have so much of our personality alike, of our lives alike. It's interesting. Like, what else are we gonna find? Both being left-handed. So, yeah, it is just for me is mind blowing. And so when people are just like, oh my God, let me grab the popcorn, I have all of these questions, I understand because I have these questions too. And even though I'm living it, it feels like a out of body experience. Um, Unlike B, I am the oldest on this side. So my dad that has been around since day one. Like I'm the oldest of his kids. I'm the oldest of my mom's kids. They were childhood sweethearts. They grew up together. And so it has been such a mind
And then
shift for me.
Greg snuck in.
You said what?
Then Greg
Oh,
snuck in.
So
yeah.
you didn't know that he was not your biological father, that your father
No,
was.
I didn't. My mom had a type. She liked them light. She liked them confident. And she liked them to be womanizers. So they got the charm. They got it all. And so he's a light bright like me. And so I am, even looking at my mom and Papa G, I'm a mixture of them. So you can look at me and you can see my mom, and then like my dad is really light skinned, and my brother looks just like him. And so I think that when people saw us together, we had the same complexion. So it was just like, oh yeah, that must be where she got her complexion, and left it at that. And then for all the other things, they just attributed to, oh, she just got more of her mom's genes. until I saw B and Papa G. And then I was like, oh no, like I am all G's. So yeah, I think I didn't know. I'm still uncovering like their backstory and like how things played out and all of that. So I still have a lot of questions myself about how things came to be, but they he raised me. They got married. They eventually got divorced. He remarried, so I have more siblings with him and my stepmom, and it's crazy because looking at him and then my baby sister, so many times they would make faces, or my dad would like show us pictures of him when he was a kid, and I'd be like, man, that looks just like my girls. That looks just like my girls. And I'm still waiting for the explanation of how like that has come to be, that like they look alike.
Mm.
But yeah, I had no idea. And so that was a shock. I had to process the truth and the reality that I had known for 30 something years no longer being true. And then my brother that I was raised with, he's 2 years younger than me. Immediately he was just like, well, this changes nothing. You're still my full sister. Like, as far as I'm concerned, those other people don't matter. And like, I'm still not really sure if that was coming from a I'ma love you regardless type place, or if it was coming from a I don't believe this. This is some bullshit. Like, the test is a fake type place. Like, if he was being dismissive or not. It came across as very dismissive because he wasn't willing to have a conversation with me. He wasn't willing to, like, he never asked me, well, how do you feel? How are you processing this? How can I help you? How can I walk alongside you? And so again, when B was like, you're not alone, for the first couple months, like, she was all I had, because on my end, nobody wanted to talk about it. They wanted to pretend like everything was the same as it had been, but it wasn't. Like, I had
Even your mom.
even my mom, like,
So
nobody wanted to
to
talk
this
about it.
day, have you had that honest conversation with her?
No,
Is it
I did get a chance for her and Papa G to go out to dinner with me. And I got to see them interact. I got a picture with them together, which was really like it was something that I didn't know I needed. So now I do have that picture. But even in that, the conversation, we only went so deep. Um, and then it was like, we can laugh, we can kiki, we can bring up the good memories, but the real deep questions, we're not touching those. And so hopefully in time I'll be able to ask those questions and I'll be able to get there. But everybody has to process in their own time, which is something that I didn't really understand, because in the beginning I just kind of felt like, this is happening to me, I'm owed these answers, like, my truth, my identity. Like, all my life I literally thought that I had this man's DNA in me, and that was part of my makeup. And now it's not so. So now I have these questions of, where do I come from? All of the things that I thought I got from him, because my dad was military. And so we didn't live together. I lived with my mom. She raised us. He lived in another state. And so there'd be things where I'd be like, oh, well, this must be that nature over nurture, because he wasn't around to influence me. But like, now I have this. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe that's just a coincidence. Like, you meet somebody and y'all just happen to have things in common. So then if that wasn't nature, if I didn't get those things from him, like, where's that nature part of me? Like, the things that I did not get from my mom, where did that come from? Like, who was that? My mom's mom passed when I was 17. And so I lived in the house with her my whole life. She was like a second mom. And that was really, really hard. And so now to gain a grandmother that loves me, that wants to get to know me, wants to get to know my kids, wants to spend time with me, it feels like I've been given a second chance at having grandparents. And so, yeah, it's been, for me, it's just been very interesting because my family doesn't talk about it. My siblings don't talk about it. My parents don't talk about it. It is just me. And then I'm put in a position of having to bring up that topic. And then maybe it'll be received well, maybe it won't be. And I think for a while, and I don't know this to be true, but I just felt it. I felt like I was kind of blamed for opening Pandora's box, because had I not taken the DNA test, had I just left well enough alone, then none of this would have come out. Like, even our siblings, the sister that I connected with through the DNA testing, when I reached out to her, she was like, I find that hard to believe. I don't think we're related. What proof do you have? And like,
You did
Dana
I'm
don't
like,
lie, baby. Dana don't lie.
um, I'm like, the DNA test that literally says we share, I actually share more DNA with her than I do with my brother that I was raised with. Like, and so it's like, okay, so we share more DNA. That's my proof that I have. And her initial reaction was just kind of like, whoa, no. And then she kind of softened up, and I thought she was coming around, but then she made a real hard, like, well, if you're choosing to pursue a relationship with our biological father and our sister, I don't even know if she claimed Bernadette, it might have been that girl or something like that, then I like you, but we can't have a relationship. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna choose between my sisters, and I'm not gonna choose between my sister and my biological father. So uh
I
I'm
did.
gonna
Mm, mm. Well, and
yeah.
what's crazy about that is they have experienced this multiple times before. So, how could this not be possible? At least possible. How could you not even consider it to be a possibility? So, why don't I ask more questions to see if it is before I just shun you? That's what's crazy about that with them, Like they've been through this multiple times.
And I don't think that they want to accept it, because I have heard uh the comment made several times that, like, in conversations that surround them or involve them, none of the outside kids are actually their siblings. It's just the ones that come from their mom. So I think it goes even beyond me, that like there's just not a general acceptance. um and I have to say that, like, it has been across the board, like the acceptance from, like, it's like, I don't talk to nobody, so like it's not personal to you, but I don't deal with anybody, to like, um there's all this drama and layers, and so you need to pick a side, even though you knew, like, you need to come in and you need to pick a side because that's going to determine how I mess with you, to be just being like, hey, like, your face is enough for me. That's all I need. And it's like, it's crazy scary. I think she unlocked my phone with Face ID one time. Yeah.
Oh no.
Matter of
Like,
fact, let's go
just
on and
pick it
delete
up
her
and it
now.
automatically unlocked. Like,
Let's delete her now.
so like it has been just like a spectrum with all of them. Some people reach out every now and then, but it's just like, hey, bye, checking in, and that's it. And then some play their games and trying to fill it out. And I've had to learn for myself how to navigate everybody, and also try to keep everybody's experience different. So just because this was your experience with them, like, I'll keep that in the back of my mind, but I can't go in with that. I got to give them a chance to show their true colors to me, so I can make that decision for myself, and not pick sides. And it's been interesting getting to know our biological father. He is a character. He cracks me up. Um, but again, for so much of this, as far as siblings go, the only person that I've really been able to share this with has been B, and it's crazy because I've only known you, what, 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in October, but the conversations that we have are conversations that, if you didn't know any better, you would have thought that we've known each other my entire life and that we grew up together, because it gets that deep and vulnerable sometimes. um so yeah, I'm interested, or not interested, but like it's interesting to hear your perspective, Danielle and Tiffany, watching her navigate this and like the different emotions that you guys have felt from like, yeah, that's okay, because like, you know, they just other people in your life, to like, oh no, how dare they come in and try to claim the same title that I have. And just being protective and not wanting her to get hurt, and caring for her, because these are conversations that I have not had the chance to have with my siblings yet. And hopefully one day, like you guys got, like you said, Danielle, you guys got 20 years in the game. And so I only got 2 years into my journey. And so realizing that they also have to go on their own journey and process. And so 10 years from now, we might be having a totally different conversation about what their role is, and how they're showing up.
But they've
Yeah.
shown Tiffany and Danielle, what I'm gonna say, have showed up. My family on all sides have showed up. And well, I ain't all sides. My maternal family, aunties, cousins, and things of that nature. Because again, I gave Dad a 50th birthday party, and my Texas family showed up and and supported that and whatever. But as my siblings, Tiffany and Danielle have showed up because the people that they've been introduced, my siblings that they've been introduced to, they have relationships with and conversations with. Also, it was never like they said in the beginning, it was like, who is this and this, that, and the third. But when we've all come together, we've been able to really enjoy ourselves, and outside of, there was no separation in it. It was like, this your sister, all right. Although it may not be as close, this your sister, but it's our sister. We just in it. We family in this thing when we're
Yeah.
together. It was no division in
Mm-hmm.
or picking sides from my sisters. Now, I will say some of the other siblings from Dad have been very vocal about their disdain for whatever, and that's their business, and they can be there. But I know that my sisters, when they say that they've been supportive in it, they have been supportive in it because they've come together, and it was the way, like I feel about Dad. Far me saying for him, I'll deal with them because I love my daddy, and I just learned how to know my target audience when dealing with them. I ain't gonna hate them, and I can do it. We could be in the same room, and I'll be okay because the common denominator is my daddy, and his happiness and well being is for that. And that's how Danielle and Tiffany have showed up for me. That she's the common denominator. If we love it, we'll endure it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, right, uh, the people to blame in this situation are the people to blame, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
They, and at some point, you gotta just put on your big girl panties and drawers and deal with it. But at this point in life, is it's just, in my opinion, for me, just because what do I have to be upset at that man for? What do I have to be upset at any of the siblings for? They did not cause this wasn't their fault. They are products of what our parents did
Facts.
and chose not to expose. It is unfortunate my mom was not able to tell her story, so we don't know her story. We can only get bits and pieces from everybody, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And being around him, because I met him, and I'm like, damn, he a cool ass dude.
Cool.
Yeah, I can see why my mama was spitting with him. He's nice looking, he's handsome, he's got a gift. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, I can see
Gift
why.
that keeps on giving and giving.
Very, very giving. I can see why. I can
Mhm.
see the why,
Mhm.
But what I struggle with is like, ain't nobody call this fool out on his shit. Come on now, we need to get it. I want to know if there any more out there. Let's get it. Let's meet them. Let's do this. Let's get it over and done with so I can move on with my life. Because I think Bernadette, of course, she's a lot different than you. You are just in your journey. And
Yeah.
I see you're struggling. I see the emotion. I see the also passion, and the you can look at you and tell you need to know. You need to have honest, genuine, real connections. And so if they can't give it, you got plenty people out here, baby, that can.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that you can't get the answers, but at some point I feel like All their feet need to be on the carpet. Well, really, Big Dog, he
Uh,
got to stand up and put his feet on the carpet. And I think in some ways he has, because he's acknowledged, he's embracing it. You know, he's had to, that's got to be embarrassing. Um, you know, just because I'm like, damn,
Girl,
here's another
you
kid.
met him. He ain't embarrassed about nothing.
No,
He ain't.
you know,
Embarrassed at nothing.
I will say, I feel like as far as he is concerned, I've gotten the answers. I just gotta accept them because his answer is, "Well, I asked and she said no, so I ain't gonna beg for no kids. Like I ain't gonna run from him, but I ain't gonna beg." So he wasn't, regardless of what the facts were, regardless of how I would have liked him to handle the situation. He's like, "Look, I asked. I did my due diligence. She could have answered differently, and had she answered differently, I would have did something differently." And he even said that like his wife's oldest daughter and me were like 7 months apart, and so he's like he used to have a picture of us together when we were probably about like maybe two. He said he lost the picture, and when he found out about me, he said he looked high and low for it, but he couldn't retrieve it, like a hard drive failure. But he said he had the picture, and he thought that we looked so much alike. And when he mentioned it to my mom, and she was like, "Nah, that's not possible," and then he left it at that. And I'm like, nigga, you had the picture, you had the inkling 2 years later, and you still gonna go with the "no, that's not possible."
Right.
Like, and he like, "I ain't gonna beg for no kids." That's my answer. I have to accept it. But why did you just accept that? Like, why didn't you push further? And the answer is because he is who he is.
And
Like,
that's like I said in regards to Mama. Somebody, when he left Fort Riley, Kansas, somebody told him, "Hey, Jackie pregnant." And he said that because Jackie never said, "Hey, I'm pregnant," he didn't look back. He said somebody told him. His buddy Chuck said, "Hey, Jackie pregnant." Da da da. But he never looked back. Oh, Tasha's mom name is Jackie too, y'all.
shut the front door.
He got a type.
No,
He don't have a type.
uh. A wet one. A wet one. No.
You stupid.
So let me ask you a
But
question. Go ahead, Daniel.
I was just gonna say, I know Tasha is feeling like, no one on, her other side of the family is willing to talk about it, but they may not be. It's not that they don't want to deal with it. For them, you said nothing has changed for them. So they may not understand the emotional piece for it for you because nothing has changed for them. In their eyes, nothing has changed for them. So they don't get the what your needs are. That's why they don't, when you want to talk about it and go deeper, nothing, all they can say in their head is nothing has changed for us. You still my sister. You're still my daughter. You're still my, niece, nephew, So that's why they can't have those conversations with you because they don't understand that it has changed. Something has changed. A whole nother family has come into the picture, and
A large one.
and not even that, your whole life, you're questioning who you are. And they don't understand that because they're not having those questions because you're still their sister. Like I was saying, no matter what, we don't use no half nothing. I don't understand what does half feel? What? Why you even
yeah,
use that word in my presence? We're not half nothing. That's my sister. So for them, you're her daughter. It don't matter. That was her mistake 30 years ago. She probably don't even know all of the story at this point because she didn't put it so far back in her mind. Like, you just my baby. He your daddy, and
Daddy's
you your
maybe
daddy.
baby type thing.
Yeah, like, so it's not an issue for me. I apologize this is happening to you, but I don't have a problem. You my baby. I don't have
yeah.
to answer those questions because nothing's changed for me.
Well,
They don't get that it has changed. In actuality, it has changed. Everything has
okay, so
changed.
you know that we do have to give Steve his grace because he did have a conversation with us, although he was very standoffish at first. He did interview, and we'll have to post that as well. But when we went to what was that, Six Flags?
Six Flags.
We went to Six Flags when I went to Chicago, and we were walking up, and as he met us, he says that it was funny. He was like, he could see the connection in the two of us as we were walking up. So we say, well, what did you think when you first seen us? He says, anybody got some candy? It was, I think that was his way of trying to just make light of the situation, because again, it was very, like, oh wow, this is real now, because I'm actually seeing somebody, that's coming into the picture. So I will give him grace. And
Who is Steve?
Steve is
He's my brother that I was raised with.
Okay.
and he
Go ahead.
he opened up, and he, like I said, he had a candid conversation with us, and he was like, yeah, she needed you. I love you. I love, and I got to tell him, I love you. I ain't going nowhere. Just like y'all engulf the siblings, I attached to Steve too.
Yeah. And I will give him that. And that actually, he had, right before that, he actually did apologize to me. And he was like, it was brought to my attention that I didn't show up for you the way that you needed me to. And I just want to say I'm sorry, because I just didn't think it was true. I didn't think it was possible. And I never stopped to think about you in all of this. And so I will give him that. And then when B came to town, I asked him, I was like, I would really, really like for you to meet her. Like, she means so much to me. And he was open to it. And so they hit it off almost immediately. And that just made me feel so good. And immediately following that, we had a conversation. We talked about it. But then after that, there has been, no follow-up. And that's kind of probably on both of us. I'm not going to put it all on him. Because we're also navigating changing dynamics and our relationship, because we were raised to be a certain way that was not very conducive to creating a close relationship for us. And then we have our own mommy daddy issues that also sometimes put us at opposing ends. And so, just like with Papa G's kids, where like, me and Bernadette coming in as adults, we might have a different view of him. And I know you, Bernadette, you've had your struggle with him. So it's not like you just got rose-colored glasses on and he's awesome. But like Bernadette has a love for him that is not shared among all his kids. And so the ones that don't share that love don't necessarily understand, well, how can you love a man that also has done blah, 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 blah. And so with me and my brother, sometimes we have those conversations where it's like, well, because they did this one thing, that's the deal breaker. And so this is how I view them in my life. And then the other person is like, why you hung up on that? Like, that's just such a trivial thing. And so that has also impacted how we relate to each other. And so now you add this onto it and how he handled it. It has complicated things. And so it is still like walking eggshells. And like I said, I do think that like, 10, 20, 30 years from now, it will be a different conversation, because we both will have grown and we'll have the maturity and the wisdom and the experience to just approach things differently. But yeah, it made my heart so happy to see them interact at Six Flags. And for him to be so accepting, because I didn't think he was going to be. Like, when I asked him to, he was like, he works there as a character, and so he had to be at work. And so he was like, I guess I could come to work early if you want me to. Yeah, I'll meet her. And so I was holding my breath, because I was like, is he gonna like be a jerk to her? Is he just gonna like be fake nice and then like go home and then talk a whole bunch of stuff about her? Like, what is it going to be like? And then
gonna let him treat her that way? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
I mean, but it's just like, I didn't know how he was gonna be. And so I was really, really like worried about that, because I mean, I know B can handle her own. So it was never about like, is her feelings gonna be hurt or any of that? Because I was like, if he come in correct, like, is she not gonna handle it? And now it's gonna be a firecracker. And now I'm gonna be like at arms the way Papa G is with us and his other kids. And like, I just didn't need that. I'm like, I need somewhere for there to be some unity and not feel like I have to constantly pick sides. And they were laughing and joking and talking and like, yeah, it was just, it was really, really good. And it gave me hope. It gave me some much needed hope that I needed at that time. Just about like how things could be and what's to come. So yeah, you're right. B, like we can give him grace. But initially, but that was still like a year into it. So like that whole first year, I didn't have that. Like he had just apologized right before he met you. So that was like maybe like a month or two before. So before that, it was still very lonely, and sometimes it does still feel lonely. I have siblings that, and I don't use the half, but like they were half, and so now they're biologically zero now. Like there is no shared DNA. The love isn't lost. Like I still love them like full siblings, but having to grapple with that. I don't know if they had to grapple with it. They're much younger than me, and we never grew up together. So like it didn't, if the dynamics of our relationship hasn't changed, I don't know if like that reality and that knowledge changes things for them. But for me, it doesn't change things, but there's just this awareness. And like when people are like, how many brothers you have, how many sisters you have, and now I got to count on my fingers because I'm so used to saying I got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and that's that. And now I'm like, I got two. No, I got, wait, how many brothers? I want to be like I got 2 sisters in a twister, but like I'm like I have more out there, and now I have to think about it. And so, and then, and again, that discernment of like your audience and stuff. But then when I'm like, oh yeah, I got all of this, and people are like, man, your parents must have been busy. They all got those kids together, and I was like, no, some of them are my dad's kids, and then it's like I don't want to have to go into I got 2 dads because that ain't really none of your business, and you're gonna ask questions, and I don't want to put my parents' business out in the street, especially when I know that some of them still feel a kind of way about my story being told. And so it's like being mindful of that, and it's like, so even like in doing this podcast and stuff, I try to focus on my experience because one thing about me and B is that when we get together, the shenanigans are on, and so like you can't keep us in the closet, like, and we don't want to be kept in the closet. I want to make memories with her. I don't want it to feel like a booty call in the middle of the night. Hey, let's go meet up and hang out, and nobody can know that you're my sister because like sometimes it feels like when people are like don't acknowledge that side of the family, like that's how they want me to treat her. Like you can introduce her, but don't tell them who she is to you. Like that's
Is that why y'all wear the matching outfits?
Yes.
Cut it out. Y'all too old for that.
No, we got 30-some years to make up for.
Y'all
We're
too
never
old
gonna be
for
too
that
old.
matching outfit.
I'm
You
like,
can
who picked that?
coordinate. You can coordinate, but don't match. Y'all too old for that. I just said, why y'all do that? But it makes sense now. It makes sense. I gotta still see. This my sister, and we match it.
And I'm like, which one of y'all picked that shirt? Which one of y'all?
But no, but the crazy thing is like, look, so when we first did the what is it? When she came out here, right? So it's
Busch
like, oh,
Gardens.
we want to color coordinate or you want to do whatever, right? And then I think I was like, you want to dress alike? And then she was like, I was gonna ask you that too, but I didn't know how to ask. So it's like, so now we just make it a habit that it's like whenever we get together, we at least gotta dress like one time. Whatever our event, and we've decided that because we never got to make childhood memories, every time we get together, we're going to do something that we should have gotten a chance to do in our childhood. That's why we've been going to the amusement parks, because that's something we should have got to do.
Bitch, you didn't go to the child. You didn't go to the amusement park as a child. What
Nah, we couldn't afford that.
I went in 6th grade when I was in California.
Girl, with the school. You ain't go with us. We ain't went to the amusement parks.
Well,
But again, that's something I should have did. We do stuff. Shit.
Now, now we do stuff we grow with money and kids, and we
That
didn't do it
part.
as kids.
And we do stuff. Shit, we eat good when we all get together. Do we not go eat good?
We
We
eat
not go
good.
big.
Well,
Exactly.
we never went to the.
Y'all can take
We went
pictures
to
playing
Six Flags.
cards. I
We go
still got a
that.
Nintendo if y'all want to play that.
We can do that too. However, we choosing to do, and we attempt to get our daddy to sponsor that shit.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Ain't no
That's
child
awesome.
support.
Awesome.
That's a great
But
idea.
so Tiffany, question to you though. So
Uh-huh.
you're 6 years older than me, and
Uh-huh.
I have pictures that my daddy sent me that you're in it with mama.
Really?
Can you recall any instance of him?
I do not. There was when we were in the trailer park off of what's that, Madison?
Mm-mm. That
Hunt
was
Park?
Shawnee Park,
yeah.
the trailer
Yeah.
park off of that area.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a man. I couldn't tell you who the man was or anything. Like I couldn't remember any of that kind of stuff. So I do remember a man being in the presence, but who? No, I don't remember nothing.
Oh, okay.
When and there was just one picture we had. I think it was a Polaroid picture of him. I don't. Do you remember
It,
that? It was, and
no, I've
every
seen
blue.
it. I've seen
Okay,
the picture, but I couldn't tell who that was. Like I
yeah,
don't know. I remember a man. I don't know
I knew
man.
that this one picture. Everybody always said that that was her dad, and
Well,
so
yeah, because he was in his green. He was in his.
every blue moon, like way back when. Now I don't even think about it. But every blue moon, I would get. I feel like I would see him in the trailer, but it wasn't like a something I remembered, because my memory sucks. But I would always think, man, I feel like I've seen this man before. Every time I'd see
Right.
that picture, so it was like I could have in my younger years, but I wasn't ever really sure. But when that picture would come up, I'd be like, I feel like I've seen him before. I don't know who he is. I couldn't tell you his name, nothing, but I felt like I had seen him before in the
I
trailer. And
didn't.
the
I
memory
know
was
that
always in the trailer as well.
my mom very rarely brought men around. So,
Hmm.
but I remember a man. Not that I could say it was him or not. So if there was something, I don't remember.
Because that was like the crazy thing, like when meeting him, and then he sent me them pictures from 20 plus years later. And I'm like, what the hell? Because one thing about him, he gonna take a picture. Like,
Baby.
But what
well,
we keeping them for? What we keep? mm,
I think
That's me. I'm a
that's how
jealous
I
type.
know that there's more of us out there, and I'm pretty sure once they continue to reveal themselves, he's going to release these pictures and stuff. That's why I said, like you said, Tiffany, everybody needs to come to the carpet. There needs to be a moment and just release all of this because, honey,
He didn't have relationships with all these women. He didn't kept the pictures. What he needs to do is just release their names so we can go knock on their door and be like, ma'am, do you have some kids?
he says he didn't have. What did he say? I didn't have flings. I had relations.
Yeah.
So he got
It's still
every relation he was with, he got pregnant. God, Jesus, Lord help me.
But
Come
and
on.
the
Where
crazy
you saying, come
about that
on.
is he was in his early 20s. Like all of us were conceived before he hit 30. So he was sowing his wild oats for real. Because all of us are under 30 except for Jared.
So thinking about that, right? Okay. And so how many is it total? 11?
10.
10 down.
10 known. His poor mama. That's my fear. Like, gosh darn, please don't do that to me. Just tell me now so we can figure it out.
Yeah.
It poor thing.
Everybody is stair steps, and there's a gap between Bernadette and then his wife's oldest. Like it's 8 years between them.
But see,
Um,
that's how I know that there's someone more out there because he didn't put his rocket in his pocket. There's no way.
no, but even her kids, I think, are like 1 or 2 years apart from each other. So like everybody is like you either got a sibling the same age or they like a year older or younger. So like yeah, and
Was
then
he
there's an
still in
acre
the
gap.
military? Was he still in the military, or was he? Because I did ask him some questions when Asia's graduation. I was asking him all kinds of questions. I know he was like, "This girl right here,"
No,
but
he love a good damn interview.
Mm-mm.
but
But
was he still in the military, or because if I guess you could kind of, if he had gotten out, right, and then maybe you can kind of retrace some of his steps, or
Makes sense.
he
Maybe
got out and he got back in.
we might need to find that out.
Maybe that's when there was a gap in between kids when he got out. I
Connie had him
mean,
locked down. I don't know.
yeah.
Let me stop saying that woman name. His wife, she had him locked down. No, because
Maybe
no.
Have
she was
you
about
met
to leave
him?
and he was gonna be faithful. He was trying to be faithful.
Have you
Oh,
met him?
He'll tell you. He's he'll tell you now.
What I will say though is from and B probably knows this better and can speak to it more. But from the conversations that I've had, it seems that if the other person is in a relationship, that's the only thing that's gonna like slow him down because he wants to be respectful of that other person. But if you single and ready to mingle,
he with
baby,
it.
it is green light. You got it. You not stopping that go.
He don't consider his wife at all. The I shouldn't be doing that. It's always
His
the other
his
person's relationship.
his
It's
thing
they're
is
in a polyamorous relationship.
who?
No.
She tolerates
Oh,
his
okay.
love.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, they're married
Right.
and he's him.
Okay.
Yes.
I
So
thought
And
she was
she
gonna
knows
tell
that
me.
she
I
married.
thought she was gonna tell me she was a
No,
Rolling Stone too. I was
no,
like, okay.
no. I said polyamorous. She tolerates it.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
said Polly. That's why I'm like no.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
He lives his life, and one thing he will always say is, "I'm gonna make sure I'm good,"
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna enjoy his life. So if enjoying his life means somebody else gets to come into the picture, it's gonna be there.
Mm.
And as long as he's happy and content with it, hey, you don't have to accept it, but you will respect it.
So knowing that, right? Do you want to know if there are others? Do you
Yes.
care? Is
I want to
there?
know.
You do?
I
I
do.
I want to know because yesterday I sent Taja something I seen on Facebook where it's a boy and a girl. They're pregnant and they're siblings. The girl was so in love, she wanted to take him to meet her aunt, her favorite aunt. So they go to meet the aunt, and the aunt say, "Oh, you look so familiar for such and such. Do you know such and such?" It's his daddy. So they get to digging deeper in the conversation. It's her daddy. And they so young and dumb that they're saying, yeah, because we're step. We're step. Oh, yeah, we found out that this is my stepsister. That's their biological daddy. The baby gonna be retarded, I think.
Maybe not, but
Because they
No,
already
be
chances are
nice.
high.
Be nice.
but
I
they already retarded, and nobody is having that conversation with them because they say we're we're
Yeah.
step siblings.
Yeah.
No, fool, y'all siblings.
But to give them grace, in the interview, it said that they had just found out a month before. As big as her belly was, that baby had already been conceived. So I think that I think there's some denial going on. and some trying to like make sense of it and make the situation all right, because you can't get out of it. You didn't already have, like, the baby's already conceived, and she looked
Mm-hmm.
like a woman's right to choose is on the line right now, and in certain states you can't, or you can't pass a certain time. So it might just be too far gone, and now they are young, but you can tell that they're young, and the reality hasn't set, but it's only been a month too.
Mm-hmm.
But then is
Mm-hmm.
again the stupidity of the people that are saying these things to them, because these kids get back on and say, we step. Why didn't the people that's telling them that y'all are related relate like, hey, no, step is when there's a
Because,
there's no.
and I think that goes back to the big players not wanting to own up to it for whatever reason. If there's shame, if there's like manipulation, deceit, but if the players that be aren't really accepting and being true about it, then that trickles down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of maturity and courage to say, "Hey, I know you my parent, but f what you talking about, because that's not possible. I'm the proof that that's not possible."
Right.
Um, because it yeah, and when they look like they had to be in their early 20s. So like if they're telling them that like this is what it is, then they probably just parroting that because they haven't had a chance to process and think for themselves. I do feel extremely sorry and sad for them, which is why I want to know, because also like for the boys, and even though they're older than me, so it's like 8 to 10 years older than me. I had like the oldest was being brought around my mama. So like he remembered my mama, he remembered the house that I lived in. He remembered my mom lived with her parents, so he remembered my granddad, um, literally around the corner. And then the boys, the twins that's up under him, also down the street. Um, our grandma down the street from me. So like these are people that I probably have crossed paths with. Thankfully, because of the age difference, I wasn't crossing paths like that with them. But it might be some more out there that I could have been in class with, because again, 8 year age gap between me and Bernadette. So where the rest of them at? And so that's why if there's more out there, I want to know. And then I think about like I got 3 girls. They're not at dating age yet, but when they get out there, I need to make sure that they're not dating first cousins.
Yeah.
Because everybody before Bernadette was in our hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not even like, oh, he's military, so they might be in Thailand or something. Like, no, they're probably in my backyard.
And
Yeah.
that's too, because like Jared falls in between Asia and Mike. Asia, then Jared, then Mike. Jared actually lives in my area, although because of his circumstances, he doesn't really deal with whatever because he think he's Caucasian. So he doesn't deal with the colored part of his family. But he's a handsome young guy.
He
You know
is.
what I'm saying? He could have hollered at his niece. You know what I'm saying? There's no telling if we didn't know him. So it's like, again, we from Texas here, but Jared in Florida, in the same area. That could have been a very jacked up situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then from that other perspective, so are you guys? So let's say everybody has this change of heart because we're getting older, things happen, life happens, and they say, "I want to now have a relationship. I want to mend those because I know, Corey, I know all that crap. Like I know that stuff. I want to mend these relationships and I want to get it right." And are you open to having relationships with the wives, children, all of your siblings? Like, are you open to having that if this comes to fruition?
I'm still immature. I don't do it at this point. I,
Okay.
I can coexist in a room for an event, but outside of that, I don't think that I can open myself up for that heartbreak anymore. I've done it. I've extended myself on multiple occasions. So for me, I'm still in an emotional immaturity for that at this point in my juncture. Now, maybe down the line, I may be able to reconsider, but because I've been hurt from that, I ain't on it just. I can't do that just yet.
So first off, be nice to yourself. Be kind, because I don't think that's you being immature. I think that's you loving and caring for yourself well and protecting yourself from harm. Like you said, you've been hurt, you've extended. And I know with at least one of those, I was witness and had a front row seat to the olive branch that you extended and how it got snapped off and like trampled and broken into pieces. And so I don't think for you to say like we can be cordial, but that's it, is you being immature. I think that's you learning from your past and moving forward and setting boundaries and standing on those boundaries. Um, for me, I would I would leave the door open, or no, I leave the door unlocked. They gotta knock and they gotta walk through it. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to try to foster that and to create something, because I gave everybody a clean slate, and I was more than willing to foster whatever relationships that were there, regardless of what had been said about them or how their relationships were with other people. Um, and so if they have a change of heart, then the onus is on them to lay that groundwork and to prove that they've had that change of heart and they want that relationship. Um, I I'm okay. Like I haven't had nearly the heartache that B has had, or the experiences. Because from the gate, the people that are like, I'll have nothing to do with anybody, that was known from the gate. So it was like, we've made connection. I know you exist. That's all that there's gonna be. And then the others have been where it's like they haven't necessarily been mean or done anything, but I came to realize that the connection was only on me. We only talked when I reached out. And if I didn't reach out, there was no connection. And so that says to me that you're willing to receive, but you're not willing to give. And it's a one-way street. And so I've slowed that down. There's no hard feelings. If they reach out, you know, I'll answer the call, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to keep being the one to reach out. And so if they said they had a change of heart and they want to go deeper, then they're going to have to put in that work, because at the very beginning, when I was trying to figure everybody out and decide for myself what I wanted, I did that work, and then they weren't receptive to it. They didn't water the seeds that I had been planting. And for the ones that have like completely cut me out, yeah, there's gonna have to be an apology, and I'm gonna have to see like some real work done. Because there's just been so many inconsistencies. Like, first, you can't have a relationship with me because I have a relationship with somebody else, but then you can't have a relationship with those people because they have a relationship with me. Like, which one is it really? So there needs to be some maturity and some growing up there, and we can take it from there. If anybody pop up out the woodworks, I would extend to them the same open arms that was extended to me.
Well, I saw this girl in DC a couple of years ago, and I swear that was my sister. Even the people I was with was like, they saw it before me. Like, that girl looked just like your sister. I'm like, and she do. So I went and asked, what's your daddy name? I swear, y'all got another sister in DC.
And one in Alaska that was Miss Alaska, probably.
Listen, I was on Instagram and I was like, dang, look at this little girl. I sent the title and say, dang, I wonder if she know who her daddy is. Girl, come to find out the little girl live in Alaska. Or she's from Alaska, but so say she know her parents. But honey, it was just like, what the fuck?
Mr. Greg, we need him to the carpet. We need him to the carpet. We need to write down. We got to have times, dates. Y'all historians. I got one more question. Do you think that this is book worthy? this
It's lifetime
experience.
movie worthy.
I want to go on Karamo. Karamo he be exposing some stuff. I need Karamo to unlock his. No, I
Well,
don't.
what is he gonna unlock?
No,
We
listen,
know, you know it
he
now.
gonna reveal the others. Them
The
pictures that we
others.
talking about.
But he can't reveal them without them.
He gonna pull them pictures up, and then somebody gonna be like, "That's my mama. That's my grandma." The pictures that Dad got in his reservoir. You know what I'm saying? Karama
We
gonna
need
put
to
them on
make
the screen.
we need to make sure you get access to that reservoir. Uh, you know, because I mean, I think it's wonderful that you guys have this relationship and that you have the ability to open your hearts to each other. I am. I would really, just where I'm at in life and age, and not having both my parents, um, I say if you have siblings, worth a try. I know that everything out there, if you can get the truth, get the truth. At some point, before mom closes her eyes, she's got to be able to give it to you exactly how it is so that you can go forward. Because it just means the relationships in your life get stifled. You don't know how to deal with them. It takes a lot of work to deal with them. So my thing is, if you have others and you have the ability to find them. I would like to have known there's supposed to have been someone that my dad had, but he had to the funeral. After that he no longer exists.
That's
But
not true for me. If there's somebody out there, I want to know them too.
for you, for me,
Yes,
he
for me
daddy
and my
gone.
children, I feel like if there is an opportunity for my children to receive I want.
So, did either of you guys do 23andMe?
Tiffany did.
I did.
Okay, and yours on
Because
check for the more stuff, and
yeah, I'm connected to the Moors.
we know that.
But nobody else popped up.
No, no.
So
There
go ahead.
was there's some from the Moors that contacted me to try to find their relationship with the Moors, but nothing from my dad, mom, none of that. Nothing unusual. So
So I did 23andMe first. Um and I made Steve do it. And so that's how we found out that we were half. And then my dad had done ancestry, and so I did ancestry because I was like, well, this gonna put everything to bed because he didn't already did it. So if I do it and we match, bam. If we don't, then I know what it is. But I had Steve do it because I had people that were popping up and I didn't know how to place them. I couldn't figure out the connection. And so somebody popped up that was a Jean. And I was like, do you have anybody? And I'm running down all of the surnames on my mama's side, all of the surnames on my daddy's side. And I really only got like 2 surnames on my dad's side because he don't know his family history like that. So he like, it's just this or this. That's all I know. So I'm like, you sure ain't this or this? And I'm asking my mom, I'm like, do we have anybody with this? And she was like, no. And I take ancestry. And then I'm like, oh. And he's like a second cousin or something. I think his granddad is our granddad's like cousin, first cousin. So the person, yeah. And so I was just like, it was so close. And like you know, Tiffany, like they tell you how close somebody could be. So I'm like, it is crazy that this person is so close, but like I ain't never like heard this name, nobody know it. Never ever dawned on me that this was why. Because it was a different a branch that I didn't even know was branching on my tree.
Okay, Tiffany and Danielle. So, who does Grandma say that Mama's daddy last name is?
Um, Gibbs.
On my grandma's side, there are Gibbs. What is it, Taja? Gibbs and what?
Gibbs gun jeans.
Gibbs, Guns, and Jeans.
Oh, and
I
Blake.
This is some great. Ain't Grandma say that old girl and her
Marla Gibbs.
is from Chicago.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh, this would be even more crazier.
Yep. So yeah.
Well, when
I
Tiffany did her DNA test, I was quite nervous that it was gonna come back that she wasn't a Moore. That's why I was like, I wasn't the one that was like, do this, go do these DNA tests, because there is a part of you that don't want to find out. Like, what if it come back? It ain't what you expect. You did it not, initially not knowing that it was gonna come back something different. I mean, now I
Pause.
know
I
I'm
was
okay.
muted. I was muted. Pause. How
what?
in the fuck could you not believe I was a
Warren
Moor?
Warren
I was
said
waiting. I was
Warren
waiting. I
said
was waiting.
Warren said that
Girl,
mama was
he
messing
was
with
a
this
drunk.
man. He said Tiffany might not be mine.
Girl, he
So
was a
shoot.
drunk. He was a
We
drunk.
all drunk that days, but I'm just saying.
He was a
That's what
drunk.
he said.
I was a baby looking like my grandma,
I'm
Louise
just
Moore.
telling you what he
Shit.
said. And you
Girl,
the many
please.
times
Ain't
we
no
was
way.
stuck up in the hospital, he'd be like, Tiffany might not be mine.
Girl,
And
I ain't no
he
way in
he
God's
had
green earth you
names
thought
and
that shit.
times. She
And he was a
your
drunk
mama messed with
and fucked with
Michael Jackson
cocaine.
at 12:30, and so I'm
That's
like,
the
if
one
he
thing I
come
was
back,
never worried about. I was always worried about, was there others?
if he
That's
came
what I
back
was
and
worried
wasn't
about.
yours, if he wasn't yours, then I was gonna do it because I was willing for him not to be mine. I was like, I'm
But
cool
there
with
was
it.
no way in God's green earth he wasn't mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's so funny.
I was
That
ready to
thing.
find my other family.
And
I'm like,
the thing of it is that it, because when you're related to a female on that side, and I have the dad side, we have no choice. Like, there's the relation, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I was like, because this mom was always daddy's baby. I was like, yeah, that it didn't surprise me, but it's surprising that people. It's not surprising. It's like, that's really, if you really want to know, you got to keep digging down that path, because that's where you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
Because they're
And
not gonna tell the truth.
yeah, I think yeah, I think sometimes there is some like we really don't know. But then sometimes I think that like once you commit to the story, you taking it to your grave, and I think we run into that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people that I don't regret it. It hurt. And it threw me in a loop, but I don't regret it because I know the truth, and I've gained relationships that I would not have gained otherwise.
mm, mm,
Um, Even though the people in my life before this have had to process in their own way, we haven't stopped being in relationship with each other. So in
mm,
that aspect, I didn't lose them, and I gained I gained other people. I know that's not everybody's story. Sometimes people do end up cutting off their families of origin once something like this comes out. But that wasn't my story. So I don't regret it because I gained something. I didn't lose anything. I don't know where B went. I'm guessing like her phone probably died or something. Um, but I do want to say, I think this is probably the first time that I've actually talked to you, Danielle.
yes.
Um, but I hear about you all the time, so I do feel like I know you. But I do want to say, Tiffany, I appreciate you being so accepting of me, and thank you for just the warm embrace. When like the first time I talked to you, that meant a lot to me. And I know that that's how y'all are, because B tell me all the time, like somebody in my family, they their family, like they're very accepting. So I know that's how y'all are, but it just means a lot to me, and so I do want to take the time to say thank y'all before we get off of this. Um, for accepting me, especially having walked this road with me and seeing how some of the other siblings have showed out. Like y'all could have just like lumped me with the rest of them, but y'all didn't, and so thank y'all for that.
welcome.
Yeah,
We
you're
believe
welcome.
in family. I mean, we might talk about each other one day and love you the next. So, if you hear that, if BG say something like, uh, yeah, we just girls and sisters, we love hard and we be mad hard. Um, and we ain't gonna never just let go. So that's not an option for us. We weren't
Speak for
raised that way.
yourself.
We were not raised that way. We were my mama always said we all we got, and that didn't necessarily mean just us four. We family. Family is family. So
Yeah.
you need something, we got your bag. Not
Except for
maybe not
money, call her. For
yeah,
money,
that's what I was
call
gonna
her.
say.
For money,
Maybe
call
not
her.
financially, but
For money, call
emotionally,
her.
yeah, we got you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I am a. I don't like people. I don't like new
She
friends.
lying.
I got the
She
same friends that I have had since I was 5 years old, and
And
so
so
I don't
I
do
don't
people.
do people.
So if you
So
in
if
my
you in my
circle, you in my circle. I either like you or I don't. And if you in my, unfortunately, once you're in family, you family, and so it's hard to get rid of family. You can ignore them, but it's hard to get
Yeah,
rid of them. So that's generally how I live. So once I rock with you and we family, we family. So you
yeah,
know, our in-laws are still our family. Some of them. Um,
Now speak for
our
yourself.
in-laws kids our family, our family, our grandkids now, they everything to us. So that's just how we rock and live. So we one big family. So that's just how that's life.
But
and
I was
she
just so
did.
amazed. I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted for you because y'all look so much alike. I mean, like I showed my kids the picture and I was like, "Who is this?" They were like, "Auntie BG," and I was like, "Mm-mm, that's not her." So for me, I just want to see, how you are different, how you are similar, how that's what it was for me. Like, is she crazy like her? Is she this? So that's why I was like excited. Like, oh my God, this girl is for real her twin. So that's what I look forward to.
I was
Yeah,
thankful it's not another Hellraiser, girl. I'm so glad your spirit is so different. I see you, Bernadette. BG, you know you a Hellraiser.
Ben.
Ain't nothing wrong. I'm just saying y'all different. Thank you, Lord.
Interesting.
Now, yeah,
That
you
ain't
know.
interesting.
The
You
shit I
know it.
can't back to.
She was just saying her thank yous. And we
yeah.
were
I
just
just thank him.
saying that no matter what, she was going to be a part. Even the other siblings, I mean, I've only talked to a few. I don't have a relationship with any of them. Um, I don't plan on having a relationship with any of them because, again, the few times that I have been in their presence, there has been no fostering a relationship on either side. And then there was one I was in contact for a little bit, and um, we didn't continue with that communication. So, it is what it is. But like I said earlier, we family regardless. If she love you, we love you. If she mad at you, I'm mad at you. Tiffany might not be. That's just how I roll. So
You got
if
to make
she's
me mad.
if you mad at if she mad at Tiffany, I'm mad at Tiffany. If Tiffany mad at her, I'm mad at her.
But that's why
That's
we
because she's a
sidebar.
yeah. That's why she always in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
If you
So
laughing, I'm laughing harder.
For real.
Pick a pick your side, chick. That's the
Why?
problem.
But see, that's the problem. People want you to pick a side. We ain't picking no sides.
Yeah, no, Joe. But if she mad at you, if I'm mad at you, she mad at you. No, I'm not mad at you. I ain't got no reason to be mad at you. You ain't made me mad. You made her mad. Shit.
I don't make y'all mad. I don't make y'all mad though.
Okay, so now we not telling the truth. But yeah, so good. I'm happy for y'all. I'm glad that you guys are going down this path. What's the next steps?
Keep making memories.
And meeting people that have similar stories and are willing to tell them, because
Yeah.
it's so crazy that it's so many people that have to keep it a secret when they find out who they are. So we just want to be a beacon of light to people that are open enough to tell their story.
That's cool.
Give them
What,
courage.
Tiffany?
Ma'am.
Oh, you covered your mouth. Was you about to say something?
No, I was
Oh,
swallowing and want to yawn in y'all face.
uh,
And
yeah.
then trying to tell my grandson to curse at him, and without y'all seeing my mouth curse.
No, but yeah, I want to keep meeting people. I want to share more of our story because to me, that's the interesting thing in all of this. Uh, there is an emotional aspect, and there is a relational and healing and whatever, and finding out that the dad that raised you isn't your biological father, or you got other siblings out there. But to me, like, the part about this that is worth, like, I won't say worth it, but the part that like just continues to blow my mind is that there's somebody out here with my face. That we share so many, like, everything together, and like that's the part that I want to share. That's the part that I want to explore, and just keep making memories and talk to other people about, because I think that is what makes us unique. Before this, I mean, I knew it happened, but I didn't know that it was as prevalent as it is. And I'm in so many groups on Facebook where this is the thing. And I've seen all kinds of, you know, like, um, I've seen people where like it's the family of origin is fully embracing, the new bio family is fully embracing, where like neither side wants you, so now you don't have no family, you're just an orphan. To like it being similar to our story, and like it's crazy because is if there's a wife involved, like she make the man choose between this kid, even if the kid came before. If it was on some, we married when I was 25 and I had a one night stand when I was 18, the wife sitting up here thinking, treating this child like they are the other woman. Like, oh my God, you spending time with them, so you don't love me, you cheating on me and your family. Like the kids raised in the house feel like the existence of this person takes away from their value and their worth. So like it's all kinds of stories, and it's thousands and thousands of people. Like they actually have meetups in areas because there's so many people that they need to go through. And so until you go through it, you don't realize that there's a whole community. Because once you go through it, now you're seeking this community, and you're like just looking for it. And so I want us to be able to get connected in communities and share our story and share the unique aspect, and maybe give people hope that, like, it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. Like there can be silver linings in it.
Well, I will say this: I greatly appreciate.
You we can't hear you. Pick your mic up.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, I thank you guys for being so open and candid and in sharing your experiences and your thoughts on the matter. I greatly appreciate it, and being so welcoming to Taja.
Yes.
Um, and just, I hope we all get together soon.
Let's get Mr. Greg to the table. He needs to come to the carpet with his pictures. Tell him that we need his pictures.
Yeah, I
Just
will.
send me
I'm
the
gonna
box.
send
And
him.
we put them in time. We're gonna put them in chronological order too.
I'm gonna send him a message.
Tell him to send the box. Don't scan them and send me the whole box, because he might be like, oh, this one ain't nothing they need to see.
Oh
So
no,
just
he likes sharing his pictures.
No, girl,
But
let him bring them so he could talk to him, tell us about each one.
we don't want him to send all those pictures.
yeah,
Cause
he got, because he made a calendar, and I had to say, hey, and send it to the kids, and I had to say, hey, you gave it to your grandkids. He put himself on every month of the thing. So imagine a month Valentine. He's like, so we don't want all the pictures.
No.
Yes, we do, girl. I think that's hilarious.
No,
You
Our
know,
daddy, we don't want that.
How
You
old
like,
is-
we don't.
we don't want
he
that.
in his 60s. How old is he?
He about to be
Yeah.
70.
Shit,
He'll be 70 in like 3 or 4 years.
But we still don't want to know that. No.
No,
It's
but
funny
also
to
he probably the pictures he have of himself. He probably got some of them too.
me.
So like we don't want all the pictures. We just want the pictures that's appropriate.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah,
But he
that's
ain't got
something
no
because you
pictures.
just start asking, like, where else did you go? Where else did you go? Where else did you hang out for more than a month?
No, a day. Because it only take a few. It only
A few hours.
Where did you stop for more than gas?
Yes. that you had to get a room or anything.
Hey, because listen, at the family reunion, I had to say, it was like when he popped up on us at the family reunion, and then the next day he started sending pictures, and he was like, I said, what you was doing? He's like, no, I just, I got a room and I came straight here. And then some of the pictures he took, and I say, well, who took them pictures though? Like, yeah, you was hanging out, sir. This don't look like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Child. Okay. Well, I have got to get up and go because this kid is about to he's not having it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta go too. But thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
So
Thank
all
y'all.
right.
And we'll be posting it probably tomorrow, Sunday. Because
All
we
right,
normally post
until
on the
next
Sunday.
time.
All right, love y'all.
Y'all
Love
can
you.
cash at me for some kids' shoes if y'all want. Okay, bye-bye.
Uh,